playing like we just have then with that feast across into Harlem Hale. It's a lovely goal from him.
Oh, yeah!
Hello and welcome back to Mattov's English Journey, and welcome back to the final episode of this season, where in our second season we will be rounding it off and having a look towards next season. This season has been an okay season for us. I definitely see where we can improve. It's been a good indicator for how we are going to improve. As I said, come into this club 3 seasons, and I think we could be in the Football League, and we obviously were league champions last year. This season we've plateaued into this mid-table position, as you can see here. And now we just need to use this and build on it next year, and I definitely think we could be achieving very good things. So, a bit of an update on recent form. I mean, I don't really want to update you, to be honest. We've had 6 losses in a row. I don't know what has gone on there, to be honest. Against some teams we definitely should have been winning. We finally picked up a win at home against Fylde, which put us back up into 14th after we dropped some positions down to 16th, then back up to 14th. It just raises the question where we could have been if we'd have won those games. But I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the back of this season. It's not been a particularly amazing season for us. We've struggled for consistency at times. Some of the signings I made maybe have not been too good, but hopefully this summer will be pretty big. And then back in tomorrow's episode, it will be exciting to see how the start of that goes. After a good pre-season behind us, new boys coming in, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens and showing you what happens. So we've got 2 games coming up today to wrap up this season. We've got one away from home against a good Wimbledon team, and then the final game against Bromley, who sit in a similar position to us. The lowest we can finish now is about 18th place, but hopefully we don't drop too much further than we are at the moment. We were about 16th before, but that win just now got us moving back up. So let's go and see what we can do in these final games of the season, and then we will go on to the next season. So the team for this game coming up against Wimbledon away from home. Boys are very tired yet again. That is very, very frustrating. This league is so physical when you've got to play 46 games in around 8 months. It's really, really tough. Ryan Taylor is actually now officially retired, which is quite a shame for him, really, when he had that injury and then he had to go out in the way he did. We said this last episode, but he has officially retired now, so sad to see him out the door, but I guess that's what we have to put up with really sometimes. So the team for today's game starts with Willis in goal. We've got a back line of Guerrero, Pollard, Apaya, Crowther and Perrett. Triangle in the midfield of Hughes, Cantrell and Fuster. We've got Starkey on the left, right, on the right, and Harlem Hale back from injury. I'm trying him up top, see what he can do there. Kick off here in this game against Wimbledon, I should say. The summer coming up is going to be very, very interesting for us. We have had a new board take over, and we need to find out how much money they're going to give us, because obviously it is an important factor. Some people will be leaving the club on free transfers and, just being released and stuff like that. So that will free up some wage budget, but ultimately we might need a bit of money to for me to set out the team how I want to. There's some positions where we definitely need improvement. I think maybe a new midfielder we will need to bring in, definitely a new winger, a new striker also, maybe a new defender somewhere as well. It's something that needs to be done, and that money will be released from people going out as free agents, but it still raises the question. We were one of only 5 teams in the league to not spend any money in the last summer, so maybe if we were to spend money on some players, it would be a bit of a risk, because the scouting range doesn't go too far. I am going to update it though, put a bigger scouting range. So that's why there's an emphasis on being given money, so then I can put it in that scouting range, but then that obviously doesn't free up a lot of money in transfer budget, which can go into wage budget, and then it makes it all a bit tough really. So it's something that has to be considered. I think we will make some good signings, just as we did last year. There was some people who've come in and had a big impact on the club, the likes of Crowther, Apaya, Harlem, Hale. Hughes has played, I don't even know how many games he's played now. He must have played 40 games or something this season. He's been really, really key for us. 43 games. Quite good that we've managed to keep him fit for all them games, and he's played most of them. But there's definitely positions that need strengthening, a lot of depth as well, because a lot of players have left the club, and it's just something that needs to be worked on this summer, and it makes it very, very important going into next season, because if we want to go on and get promoted, we need to play much better against teams. And just in this game in itself, it's an example, not playing our best football at all. The boys are absolutely knackered. It's something we didn't really experience last season, to be honest. I don't know why it's become such an issue this year, because we played 46 games last year. We were in competitions for much longer as well. So I wonder why. Maybe it's the high press that's caused it. But the tactics have not changed particularly since last year. So maybe it's something we have to look into. But yeah, this summer is important. We need to see how much the new board give us the supporters trust, and now obviously our board in game. So it makes it all the more important how much they're going to give us. Because if they're supporting the club but also running the board, they want to see certain transfers come in, but that can't happen as long as I don't get the wage budget increase, and the being able to put it in scouting budget and the transfer budget, all that, they all link together. So it's definitely important to see what we get. But I'm sure people will come in. I'm looking mainly at a new striker. We want a proper striker next season, because some of our wing players really, really good, especially from Starkey. Salmon was definitely, he was amazing last season. This season it's not been good at all, and I think he'll be going out on loan next year, because there's definitely still the potential in him, but I don't think with this year it will be with us, or next year I should say. So that's what I think will happen, and we need to see where we can make those improvements. So looking forward to that, and then on tomorrow's episode that will all be shown. But in this first half here, we've conceded to not our best performance. Let's see what we can do in the second half. A few minutes left in this first half. Wimbledon find themselves on the ball once again, a team who were in League Two last year, so quite a tough competition. We'll have to see who is going to get relegated from League Two next year. But I think if a few more teams are going to go up this season, then we should be in this top position. It's just about strengthening the squad, getting my tactics maybe a bit more nailed on, because sometimes this season maybe this 4-3-3 has not been working very well. It's not a strategy that I go to too often, more of a 4-2-3-1 like in Real Sociedad, but it's worked last year, and maybe it didn't work as much this year. Maybe Hughes might have to get out of this team, maybe Cantrell and Fuster might have to be reconsidered in the midfield, because a lot of the time where chances are coming from, it's coming from deep in midfield, where them balls over the top are being played, and a lot of goals have come through that way. So it's been something that needs to be considered. Final 10 minutes in this game here, we're going to go on the attacking mentality. The boys are absolutely hammered. I said this last episode, but I bet they can't wait to see the back end of this season, just like I am really. It's a good time to finally settle down. We've had a long season, 46 game season. It's had its ups and downs, but next season, if we can find that consistency in terms of turning more draws into wins, because we've had like 15 draws this season, if we could convert that into more wins, then we could be onto something that would come in the form of getting a good goal scorer. Ryan Taylor definitely put a shift in, and we can tell how we've lost him in the last few games, because we haven't scored in those 5 or 6 games at all. To lose 6 in a row, it's self-explanatory why that's happened really. And this is not helping our efforts either. The third goal from Wimbledon to make it 3-0, and hopefully they don't sack me even at the end of the season, but I'm pretty sure they won't. The job is quite secure. I've just been tied down to the new contract. One more game left, and then we just go into pre-season and turn that all back around again. But might have a chance for a consolation goal with a header in from Crowther, I believe it was, or it might have been a Pyre at the near post there. Just goes past that post, and full-time whistle goes here. I'll be happy to see this game and leave Wimbledon not been our best performance. The boys are all fuming apparently. It's just a bit annoying at this point really, but let's go see what happens in our final game of the season. So the team for this final game of the season, coming up against Bromley away from home, another tough game you'd think really. Just have to see how it goes so we can wrap up this series and get it over with. The season I mean. Starts with Willis in goal, got backline of Guerrero Pollard, Apaya, Crowther and Perrett. Midfield of Hughes, Cantrell, Fuster, Starkey on the left, Max Wright on the right, and Harlem Hale up top. Kick off here in this final game of the season against Bromley. I think the tally for the season is going to end on around 54 points. It looks like he might go even up. I'd like that 14th place finish. That puts us pretty much bang on mid-table. But I just can't wait to see the end of this season. Really, it's been an interesting season to say the least. It's been good to be in the football league. Obviously we worked quite hard to get here and to get that first place in the title. That was a difficult feat, but we managed to do it. And the other team who came up with is South Shields, who are also sitting in this mid-table position, surrounding us. They've done better than us this season, to be fair, so that's pretty good from them. But if we need to contest these top spots, then we know what we need to do. Big pre-season coming up. Managing the boys a lot better next season, bringing in those new signings, and the depth needs to be just as good as it has been at times this season for us. But it could definitely improve. It's just going to be interesting to see at the end of this episode how much money we get to spend as well, because obviously, as I say, that's quite an important factor in deciding who we can buy and stuff. As Bromley score their first goal of this game, and it's just crazy, man. We've lost so many games recently. The team it's just been messed up in a bad state at the moment. But this happened, it's part of the journey. This is why I set out and said that 3 seasons is what it would take to get to the Football League. That might even not happen. Maybe I'll move on after 3 seasons if we don't make it. But I definitely think it's possible if we could do what we did last year and win the title in the fashion that we did and keep playing as we did that year. Obviously, most of the players who were there in that season won't be here next year, but it's still a case for can we do it? And I think there is definitely the question to be raised, and I think it's possible for us. But we need to put in a much more improved performance in this last game of the season. 7 losses in 8 games if we don't win this, and that would be very, very poor, and that doesn't help our efforts either. It's another goal for Bromley to make it 2-0, and we drop down to 16th place. No words to describe it really. 30 minutes left in this game. I mean, this 16th place finish it's okay. I mean, as I say, we could just move up so much if some of the results we got would have been better, converting those draws into wins, playing like we just have then with that Fuster cross into Harlem Hale. It's a lovely goal from him, but as I say, it's the board wanted us to avoid relegation, so we've outdone what they expected from us. But for me personally, there's my own personal goal, and it should be achieved next season, and hopefully that's what will happen as we pull back a goal here in this game. On the attacking mindset, all the changes made, Quansah, Waldock and Nathan Newell has come on. Let's see what we can do in these final moments of our final game in the second season. There's 25 minutes is remaining in this game. Bromley find themselves on the ball in defence, and we're trying to press this ball and win it back and try and create another chance to pull back what would be a nice fitting point to end off this season. But Bromley continue to come on the attack. It's quite unfortunate that we've had to have 2 away games to end off this season, and much prefer to be at home at the Impact Arena, and we'll be there next season, and we have to make up the most of that as well. That's another thing that could improve. We've not been very good at home this season. Our away record has actually been better than our home record. Definitely something that can be improved. As 15 minutes remains in this game, looks like Bromley might have a free kick. The ball goes in the back post. It's forced a big save, and then that's a big miss from the Bromley attacker there. And luckily we keep it to 2-1. And might have deflected off a player. Actually, I thought that had gone straight out. Apparently not, and now they'll have a chance from this corner to try and get another goal maybe, or we can try and turn this around. It's a big header by a player, another player you'd think might stay here next season. Maybe we need to bring in another centre back, give these boys a bit more competition, because sometimes I'd say they have become quite complacent, especially in the second half of the season. As I said a couple of episodes ago, we had one of the best defensive records in the whole league, but then it's definitely fallen off a bit. We've conceded so many goals in the last few games, and maybe we need to bring someone else in. Maybe we're looking at the fullbacks changing, because in most of the games that's where changes are being made in the defensive areas, and it's not been working out too well. So something that needs to be considered, maybe we have to see as the final minutes goes in this game, which will wrap off what has been a good season for us in the National League in the 5th tier, and we'll be advancing on into our 3rd season next year as Bromley will look to have the final chance of this game. They'll advance further with this ball. They'll look to try and square the save from Willis, or it might have just hit the post, and we will round off this season if with a loss. I mean, it's not the best way, but been a good season. Let's see what we can do next year. So our initial budgets have been set out for us here. As you can see, wage budget coming in at £10,250, which is okay, I'd say. We also get £11,000 in transfer budget. So if we go over to our finances and adjust that a little bit, let's see how much we can get in the wage budget. So not that much, really. We are currently spending £9,777 per week, but some people will be leaving the club. So I'd say we have about 2 or 3 thousand in wage budget, which is okay to work with. We can always go a little bit over, I'm sure, the board. Don't get too fussed about that. We were over for a lot of this season. We also need to put some in the scouting budget and see what we can do with that. So once again, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy that video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll leave you with this little tune, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the third season here in Alfreton. Thank you. Bye bye.